Once upon a time, the belief system in Britain stood firmly in the holy houses of religion, whereas today, a whopping 60% of us admit to abiding by no spiritual manner. However, there are still those who are drawn to seek the advice of a force of wisdom. They turn to the psychics. But do the multitude of mystical methods that psychics offer really have any impact on our lives?
When I went to see a psychic, she told me that the next person that I would meet, I would fall in love with and marry.
I'm Adam Bysouth, a journalist on a journey around the northwest of Britain to see if psychics really are all what they make out to be. Are they truly worth parting our cash with?
It's a form of counselling, it's a form of healing.
Or is it a load of crystal balls?
People who profess to have an ability to see into the future, it's a bit like buyer beware.
From the world of showbiz to assisting the police forces, people claiming to have the ability to contact the spirit world have become a huge part of mainstream society. However, psychics haven't had the easiest of journeys. Right now I am stood on a hill in Lancaster. This was known in the 17th century as Gallows Hill and was known for the execution of more than 10 people who claimed to practice their supernatural powers, or, as it was known back then, witchcraft. But it does seem society's views have changed. YouGov study has concluded that 1 in 4 of Brits admit they've gone to seek the advice of a psychic, and although 11% only went for fun, over half the number of visitors walked away truly believing in psychic powers. As Manchester wakes up, I headed to the city's popular Northern Quarter district. I've always grown up with the impression that psychic powers were, a complete farce and that it's something that belongs in a fairground. But I'm hoping that this journey will better my understanding of why psychics seem to be becoming more and more popular. I'm here to visit a woman who's dedicated her whole career into all things sixth sense. I've just had a look around your office today as we walked in, and it's beautiful, Angela. It really is. While it's a very small and confined space, you've really made it your own.
I like to create the right atmosphere when people come, they want to feel, safe, secure.
How long have you been a psychic for?
All my life.
All your life?
Yeah.
You literally feel like it's inherited?
It's inherited, yeah. Me nan, my great nan, I've got the gift, yeah.
Angela doesn't know where her powers came from, but considers them a gift from either God or a spirit.
I think because of the culture of life, the way life's going, there's a lot of hardship out there. People are losing people who's passing to spirit, and relationship problems, work fears, and people are just guided to come.
And you use this office to share your gift with everybody?
Yes, do.
From the gifted to the talented, I scheduled a meeting with self-acclaimed medium Paul, who believes that psychic abilities are a craft that needs to be mastered.
My belief is that everyone has the natural ability, and I was aware of it from probably the age of 4 years old. Working as a psychic, I'm reading off your aura, which is an energy field that surrounds you. And when I'm doing that, I'm picking up off people's emotions, sensitivities, and situations that perhaps they're going through.
So back in the 17th century, if you practice witchcraft, if you claim to be a psychic, then you put really your life at risk. You could have been executed. So why do you think now in the 21st century those attitudes have changed?
I think people have become more switched on, more aware. They give advice or guidance that's done in a non-judgmental way. And because there's a lot more media, people have been becoming much more open-minded and more aware of their own energy. And I think that's why it's becoming more and more popular.
Yet it's no secret that many academics have branded the concept of psychic abilities as parlour tricks and human psychology.
You have a great need for other people to like and admire you. You have a great deal of unused capacity which you have not turned to your advantage.
Take a listen to this synopsis and see whether it applies to you.
Disciplined and self-controlled outside, you tend to be worrisome and insecure inside. At times, you're extroverted, sociable, while at other times you are introverted, wary and reserved.
Nope, this isn't another psychic. This is parapsychologist Ken from Manchester Metropolitan University, and he's reading what is known as the Barnum Statement. I visited him to discuss what psychology has to make of psychic beliefs.
It explains horoscopes that are given to different people with different personalities and different star signs, and they're all hidden from view from each other, but they open their own individually. It says various positive things about that personality and that person, and then when the reveal's made, they find out that all of those statements are identical, and so they have the same attributes, and we can perceive them in the same way. It doesn't matter what star sign somebody is. Part of me would like to think that some people have an ability, but I think there's a danger sometimes that some of these people are charlatans, and they'll profess to having a lot of skills and abilities, and they'll tell people certain things because those people can be moulded. It's a bit like the Barnum effect.
Yet when I tried to discuss the sceptical views with Angela and Paul, they only defended their beliefs. The industry in Britain alone is estimated to be worth around £40 million. Yet there's no real hard-hitting proof that what psychics are saying is true. So why do you think we should believe them?
You don't have to believe what a psychic tells them.
There's a lot of psychics out there are not true.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes wrong, because they're getting told the wrong information.
Going to a psychic is probably a bit like putting on the weather forecast. It's just a forecast of what could be taking place, what could be happening based on the energy that is around you at the moment.
How do you know what you say is truth?
I know, I connect with the person. It's my life path that I'm meant to be on.
A lot of people do have a downer on the fact that psychics and mediums do charge for the services. What people have to remember is that I have to drive to a location, pay for electricity, I have to pay for room hire.
There's always a paraphernalia, there's always some sort of gimmick that people use, cards or crystal ball or something that they use to tap into something, but they're not able to just do those things.
But the wise words of psychics do matter to some. Nicola from Cheshire has felt the full benefit of visiting a psychic. Can you just explain to me your personal reasons behind wanting to visit a psychic?
Oh yeah. Basically, a cousin of mine passed away and he was only very young. I went to see if they could give me any answers, just to make sure he was okay, and see if there was anything after death, really. And the second reason was a relationship I was in. It wasn't very nice. When I went to see a psychic, she told me that the next person that I would meet, I would fall in love with and marry. And after seeing that psychic, I'm now engaged and I'm very much in love. So,
well, congratulations anyway on that engagement.
Thanks.
And I presume that you had to pay for each session with the psychics?
Yeah, they do vary. I think the first woman that I went to see, she cost about £35–40.
And do you feel that it's worth it, that kind of money?
I do, yeah. I think it's much more personal when you see a psychic, whereas somebody sitting there asking you questions and like nodding their head, maybe they can't really tell you answers, whereas a psychic could.
After spending some time with Nicola, I guess it's really made me start to reconsider my whole attitude towards psychics. Who wouldn't want somebody to help them get through all of their personal issues? But I still wonder if what we hear from psychics actually holds any truth. So just for fun, I asked Angela and Paul to personally give me a reading. If psychics can actually read my aura and tell my future, then in theory they should both be able to see the same things, right?
We've got success, but it involves a bit of travel as well, places to go, things to do, people to meet.
I get the feel as though you are going to be visiting different countries, not into the countryside, but countries into the main sort of cities.
Off to a good start. They both seem to think I'm going to be travelling a lot in my career. So naturally I asked, what will I be doing?
Entertainment.
That's very true.
Feels like you've done it forever, but you'd also make a good writer as well.
Astonishingly, Angela seems to have guessed my dream job, maybe because I've just rocked up with a load of cameras. Whereas Paul's correctly guessed my current job as a theme park critic.
As I was linking into it ever so slightly, I felt like I'm being a bit of a kid inside. I don't know if I was on a roller coaster of some sort. This is where the tourism comes into play, and connecting with the tourist side and gathering information, work out if this destination is right for them.
As my journey nearly reaches its end, I'm now beginning to reflect on my brief encounter with the psychic world. I started off this journey as a complete skeptic, thinking to myself that I was going to be entertained by these people who claim to have psychic capabilities. But after spending some time with Angela and Paul and having a couple of tarot card readings myself, it did actually make me believe that some people may be born with a sixth sense. And then I heard Ken's argument, and it made me think this isn't an industry completely driven by people's anxieties or issues. However, Nicola is proof that psychics really can benefit people. Do I believe in psychic powers? Nah. But do I believe that psychics have an important role to play in society? Well, yeah.